Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on, guys? It's Filthy and I'm back with another video. Today we're looking at a starter guide for the Wizard, 0 to Hero, how to go from level 1 all the way up to GR100. So I'm going to show you what to do with the Challenge Rift bag, I'm going to show you what to do at 70 to gear Vyrs out as quickly as possible, I'm going to give you a speed build with Vyrs that's probably quite easy to play and pretty strong, then I'm going to show you how to push with the set and should get you past 100. Now obviously Archon isn't everybody's bag, so we will have a little chat about Hydras, about Meteor, and also maybe the season journey in general. But other than that, guys, welcome to anyone who's new to the channel. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And as always, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated. Now the first thing you're going to have to do every season is your Challenge Rift, but you need to make your seasonal character first. So save your Challenge Rift until after the season has started, make the character, beat the Rift, get the bag, and then we're going to spend it. Now Wizard does not have an easy time with the Challenge Rift bag, and what I probably would do is upgrade wands in the cube. Now I think it's about 50-50 as to whether you get something usable or whether you get a brick, so let's just go through the options. Now an Aether Walker is not very good. Teleport has no cooldown, which in the game generally is nice, but arcane power is very precious when you're leveling, so I wouldn't put this in a cube. I class that as a brick. Now the next one on the next page is Fragment of Destiny. So Spectral Blade attacks 50% faster and has 200% increased damage. That's fine. I've never actually got this and used it for leveling, but the multiplier seems fine. So again, you just build with what the game is giving you. Gesture of Orpheus. This is a brick. I couldn't care less about slow times cooldown, so not very good. I wouldn't extract that one. Then on the next page we have, if I could actually manage to click, we have Serpent Sparker. This has been buffed for this patch. Now we get 300% increased damage and an extra Hydra. That's pretty good. I would extract that one. This one here, the Madness one, absolutely useless, complete brick. Don't put that in the cube. Next, Starfire. This is debatable, this one, because you've got to use lightning skills for the damage increase to work. It's 15% for every 10 yards and it caps out at 60. I probably would just about extract this because extra damage is extra damage, and you may want to roll for a Mantle Healed Ring in the loot pool, so you might want to have to check when that is, because again that would be lightning, but honestly it's not amazing, but 60% extra damage potentially, probably worthwhile. And then finally we get to the Unstable Sceptre. This will buff up Arcane Orb, really good. I would extract that one. And then the same for the Wand of Woe. This buffs up Explosive Blast and again is pretty good. Now another thing you can find is Chantodo's Will. This is a brick for leveling, not going to help you at all, but when you get to 70 it is amazing because it gives you 4000% weapon damage AoE, provided you pair it with the offhand, and you can obviously spend shards on that, so that's not too hard to come by. Now there is another option, which is the Black Hand Key. That is absolutely useless. It's got no legendary power, so again that's a brick, so it's kind of 50-50, and then maybe the Chantodos is going to be your best bet for the long term. Now speaking of long term, for blood shards I probably would also take a long term view on that. Now in the pool at level 1 you've got the blood bracers, so they are fairly good. They'll give you double shields. I don't really use them leveling, so I would maybe make a level 1 character and come back for these if I wanted them in my cube, because leveling up to 70 you're generally focused on damage. You've then also got Leorics Crown and also Poxfolds, so this will give you extra XP, the Leorics Crown. Poxfolds are maybe useful for masker bonusing. Again, I wouldn't roll for either of them. Well, sort of not either of them. I would basically be saving my shards till 30 and I'd be looking to pick up the Swami. Now at 30 there are 3 helms in the pool, which is Swami, Leorics Crown and Broken Crown. This Swami here will be very good for Archon when you do get the pieces, because what it'll do is it'll mean that your stacks last for 20 seconds when Archon expires, so that you're not particularly squishy and vulnerable. Fiddly item to get, so if you can pick it up at 30 it is worthwhile. Now I think the chances are about 42-43%, so almost half of you will find it. Not very good for leveling, so it's not going to do you very much, but it is just a bit quicker than picking it up at 70, so that's personally what I'd do. And if you miss it, well, you might get a Leorics, which would be good because that will give you extra XP if you put a red gem in the helm, and extra cooldown at 70, and Vyrs really does need cooldown, as we'll go through in a minute. And the last one that you can potentially get is Broken Crown. Fairly worthless, but the extra gems might help you, so you can combine red gems to make and put in weapons for extra damage, and certainly in your helm for extra XP. So not totally worthless, but fairly close. But that's what I'd be doing. Now, if, let's say, for the sake of argument, you absolutely hate Archon's guts and you don't want to go the Season Journey road, I probably would roll for an Etched Sigil at 33, because that's a pretty nice multiplier and you can kind of build around lots of different things with that. But as I say, the set is definitely the way to go for me. Now, when we get to 70, we're going to start collecting Vyrs pieces. The 2-piece Archon gains the effect of every rune. That's not much use because Archon is on such a huge cooldown initially that having every rune doesn't really benefit us that much. The 4-piece, we now get extra attack speed, armor and resistances by 1% for every Archon stack. Remember, we need to get Archon stacks by killing initially. When we get to the 6-piece, we just have to hit to get Archon stacks, so much easier to get them. They also deal a bunch more damage and give us huge damage reduction. So naturally the goal is to get into Archon as much as possible, particularly from the 4-piece upwards, and obviously absolutely imperative from the 6-piece. Now, the way to get Archon back quickly is through cooldown, and you've got 3 main ways of doing that. So the first will be to manage your own cooldown on your sheet. So that is by putting a diamond in the helm, taking a cooldown roll on your shoulders, gloves, and just picking them whatever. So same for the weapon, I would take that as my #1 stat priority. Same for the offhand. Even rings, if you can get rings with cooldown on, amulet with cooldown, just wherever you can get it initially. The more cooldown you can get early on will help you out tremendously. And also, whilst you're looking for a Fazulas, for instance, you might get a Vigilante belt, so again you could slap that on for extra cooldown. Now, passives wise, you also want to take evocation, that's 20%, and then in your Paragon you want to go for cooldown reduction as your first stat. So doing the best you can, you need to build up as much cooldown as you can get your hands on. Now after that, you've got 2 other ways, which are going to be via items. So the first one is the Zodiac ring. This is what is traditionally used for pushing with Vyrs. This will give us 1 second cooldown. We just have to hit with it, and obviously with Vyrs you generally hit quite a lot, so this does mean that Archon is available pretty much whenever we want it. Now this takes about 650 DBs to get, so it is a very rare item. Even if you roll shards for it as well, chances of getting it are pretty low because there are just loads of rings in the pool. The other item that you can use to get cooldown is a Messerschmitt's Reaver. Now this is really amazing because when you make a kill, it will pick a skill at random and reduce its cooldown by 1 second. When you get 6-piece Vyrs going, you will pretty much flatten lots of really high content. So the Reaver will mean that provided you pop Archon once and kill stuff, you're ready to pop Archon again immediately after. So you don't even need the Chantodo's 4 set, just the Reaver and 6-piece Archon will do you a lot of damage. Now obviously this here, the Chantodo's, is going to be what you want to work towards, but by comparison that's 250 DBs, a Reaver will be 100 and the Zodiac is 650. Now they're just averages. Some players will have really crappy RNG and take a lot longer to find items, and some players will have much better RNG and get them, but the idea is that the Reaver is about 2.5 times easier to find than a Chantodo's, and about 6.5 times easier to find than a Zodiac. So I would basically focus on that first, then move over to the Chantodo set and gear that out. Now shards I would spend on a Swami and also on a Fazulas, just trying to round out the kind of supporting Archon items. Then I would be moving over to jewellery, so convention of elements, Zodiac ring would be amazing, Unity ×2 and token of invulnerability, and then a Squirts, and then finally probably the Bracers. Now what I would say about Squirts, this does double damage, but you need to have a shield, otherwise it's worthless, so you might want to take blood bracers here, or maybe even put them in the cube whilst you're trying to find your other sporting items. So again, Hail of Karini, another really good toughness item. But the build here, just in case you're wondering, is the MSR Wizard. I will link a full guide to it. I quite like it because on your first cycle of Archon you need to start killing with the Reaver, and I prefer that personally to using my first cycle to build up stacks. But I suppose if I explain how to push with Vyrs in the mechanics, and then we'll look at the push build, because that might help you out with the explanation of how Vyrs works. So this is like a typical kind of Vyrs push build. Now what you're going to do is when you get into the rift, you're going to activate magic weapon deflection to get a shield. You're going to activate storm armor. That will then mean that your Halo of Karini will give you 80% damage reduction, which is obviously really nice. And then what we're going to do is pop Archon straight away, and then you're going to look to build stacks as soon as you can. So you're looking to just hit as many enemies. This will build up Archon stacks. With the 4 and 6 piece bonuses, this will give you a lot of toughness. You won't really kill anything in your first Archon cycle, but that's fine. When you pop out of it, you want to teleport immediately to get 25% damage reduction. This will help keep up your shield so your squirts won't drop. Then what you're going to do is stand and channel. So hopefully you've teleported somewhere safe. You're then going to channel until you get 20 stacks of Chantodo's Resolve. Then what you're going to do is cast Black Hole on any kind of density to try and get a damage boost. Once you've done that, you activate Archon, you murder stuff, and then you do the exact same. So come out of Archon, pop teleport for damage reduction, stand and channel to get 20 Chantodo stacks, and activate Archon again after casting Black Hole on some density. So that's kind of the cycle. Now obviously you've got the Blood Bracers in the push build, which will buff up the shield. You can take Galvanizing Ward in the passives, so this will give us again yet another shield, so that's kind of nice. Audacity obviously for damage against enemies close by, and an Unstable Anomaly because every so often things go awry. Now what I would say is the 20 stacks of Chantodos isn't the be all and end all. Don't die just trying to get them. If it looks like you're in difficulty, just pop your Archon, reposition yourself, get your stacks going again. You know, really it's much more important to keep alive than keep this up, but provided you get used to teleporting somewhere safe. Teleport's obviously not on the longest cooldown in the world. The Zodiac will benefit it, so you can teleport again quickly if you need to. All that you need to bear in mind is that all procs taken away from Archon do mean that it takes longer to come back, but again, teleport, channel, Black Hole, Archon, off you go. Now I did clear 99 with this build in 4 minutes a little while ago, and fair enough, I've got 1300 Paragon, but augment wise I think I've only got one on the chest and one on the convention, and then some of these pieces aren't even ancient because I haven't really played much wizard. Now APOC on the source is pretty important, and also in Storm Armor you want to take Power of the Storm. These will help resource problems and make sure that you can channel effectively to get up to 20 stacks. Other than that, it's yeah, fairly similar to the build, except we're going to take Stricken because we want to make sure that we're killing the Rift Guardian. So the MSR wizard uses Powerful and this uses Stricken. But in a nutshell, that's Vyrs. Will definitely get you past 100 and pretty fun to play for speed rifts as well. Now, new for this season, we've got the Hydra set. I have done a guide on that. On PTR, the Etched Sigil was bugged, so the static discharge Arcane Torrent was doing way more damage than it should, but it does still look like Hydra is very powerful, so I still think if you want to break from Archon, Hydra is a good way to go. The set's got 80% damage reduction built into it, and also the Hydras do hit pretty hard, so that's another set option you can use to push with. Probably not amazing for speeds, but so I probably would keep Vyrs for that, but again, another option is nice. Now we do also have Ice and Fire Wizard, which is making use of the supporting items for both Meteor and Hydras. That's quite nice because it gives kind of a consistent damage on both Ice and Fire cycles of convention. It's quite fun to play, a lot of map control, so that's kind of a little bit maybe of an off-meta push build. Again, very capable of past 100, so Wizard's in a pretty good spot. You know, you've got Vyrs, you've got the Hydra set, you've got maybe some Meteor Hydra, you've maybe got some Legacy of Dreams builds that you can use, so there's lots of options. So Wizard I think will be a pretty fun class, but to get to 100, definitely get on Vyrs. Now, let's say you don't want to use Vyrs, you're just basically going to get the Legacy of Dreams gem in your second or third rift, and you're then going to look to put a combination, so something like Unstable Sceptre and Triumvirate, Wand of Woe and Orb of Infinite Depth, or maybe even the Magistrate and the Serpent Sparker. So basically just upgrade wands. When you find one, find the supporting armor pieces or orbs, and then just carry on growing in power in like a linear way. So that's kind of a fun way to do it. I do like to do that on season sometimes, but it will be a lot slower than just jumping on Vyrs. So that's it guys, that's the guide. I wish you the best of luck for season 20. I'll be back with some more material as soon as I can. Enjoy the rest of your day, take it easy, peace.